everybody, and welcome to the 36th episode of the MyMuddlings podcast. I'm your host Julianne, and I can be found on Ravelry as Lovebird Lane. I'd really like to welcome new and returning viewers to the podcast today. I do hope you enjoy. If you do, please give us a like, and if you really love it, please subscribe. That will help to get other people to be able to see the podcast in their searches and things on YouTube. And as always, if you would like to contact me, you can do that in many places. I will put up on the screen all the places that you can find me. I'm on Instagram, Facebook, Ravelry, YouTube obviously, but you've already found me there. And I've got email. I've got a new website for Lovebird Lane, so you can head over there and leave me a message on there, and the blog. So there's lots of different places. So please do get in touch if you would like to. I'd love to hear from you. Okay, so it's a really cold day here today. I was actually cold in bed. I was shivering this morning in bed, even with my hot water bottle on my feet, which cooled down a lot quicker than usual, I think, last night. I didn't actually check or hear what the temperature was, but it was pretty cold. So I'm sitting here right now with my typical winter freezing cold fingers and toes. I do have my hand knit socks on at the moment. I'm wearing my Madeline Tosh socks. And I'm clearly wearing my hand knit sweater, which is the cabled leaves pull over, which is by Alana Dacos, and that was just knit from some wool of the Andes. I can't remember the colourway though. Opal Heather, I think it was. It needs a good deep pilling, but it's nice and cozy and warm. So yeah, so it's very bright and sunny here today, which is nice, but it is really cold, or at least it's really cold in the house. I think probably out in the sun it's a little bit warmer. But anyway, let's stop talking about the weather. Clearly I'm sounding better this week. I woke up this morning with coughing fits still, which I haven't had for a couple of days, but yeah, I'm feeling better. So thank you for everybody who did send me well wishes and hoping that I got well soon. Was much appreciated. Thank you. So yes, probably the first thing to talk about today is our stash down along that is going on in the Ravelry group. I'll put up on the screen all of the details so that you can have a read of that. So yes, that's ongoing. I don't have anything new to add to my FO post just yet. I've noticed that a lot of other people are putting their posts in, so that's really great. I'm glad to see those finished objects popping up in there. It's very exciting to see you guys all participating. So yes, that's all the details that you will have seen, and if you want to read extra details and rules and things like that, head over to the MyMuddlings podcast Ravelry group and join up if you're not a member. We'd love to have you over there. And then just check in. I think it's dropped off the main board tab because it's hasn't had any new posts on it recently. I think actually, no, I might have had one. I might be lying. But if it's not on the main tab, definitely just click into the group or the little more. I think it's a link that says more. Just click on that and you'll be able to find it. It's just a stash down along FO thread, I think is what it says. I've just realised that it is the end. It's the start of May, and I haven't actually closed the thread or drawn a prize for the April chatter thread, but I'll do that next week. I'm not going to get up now and go and do it. I've got everything sorted around me, so I'm all set, so I'll do that next week, so keep posted. Also, Brittany, who won March's chatter prize, hasn't got in touch with me. So Brittany, if you are watching, you have won a pattern from Clothesline Designs. If you want to go over to her Ravelry shop and pick out one of the patterns that you would like, and I can let Caroline know to gift that along to you. So if I don't hear from you, Brittany, I will probably redraw that prize. Just so, yeah, somebody else, we can share the love for somebody else perhaps. So yeah, definitely, Brittany, if you do see this and you'd like to pick a pattern, please let me know ASAP. Okay, so I think the only other little bit of housekeeping today is that I am going through a bit of a destash on my Ravelry stash. So I've added a few different yarns to my destash tab and or my will trade or sell tab. I've just put a few more on. I haven't put any prices or anything on them, but all the prices that are there are excluding postage. So if you are interested in them, just let me know which ones that you are interested in. I can give you a postage quote. I'm trying to clean up my colour palette of my stash because I've noticed I've got a lot of colours that I don't really like to wear in there. So I'm just getting rid of some of the colours like oranges and greens and that sort of thing. So things that I don't really wear, I'm popping in there. So if you are interested, please head over and have a look. And yeah, just get in touch if you'd like to purchase any of those D-stash items. Okay, so I guess we can get on to finished objects now. Just move my iPad around so that I can see it a little bit better, even though I can't see it really well because I'm, half blind. My first finished object for today was so much fun because it was instant gratification. If you are on Knitpix's mailing list, you probably would have seen that they were having a sale. Probably was it it would have been probably 2 or 3 weeks ago, because I got my package actually really quickly. So yeah, they were having a sale and they were doing grab bags. They were doing $25 and $10 grab bags. I mean, that was American dollars, so it was a little bit more expensive for Australian dollars, but that was the 2 types of grab bags that they had, and I purchased one of each when I put through my order to get my the Wool of the Andes in the Dove Heather colourway for my other Lady Sunny side when I finally get around to knitting that. So anyway, as part of my grab bag, I did get quite a good range of yarns in there. As Tamara of Tam's Crafty Knits said, she's always worried about getting grab bags because she can't use alpaca. And yes, Tamara, there was some alpaca in there. I got 3 skeins, I think, of alpaca. I think it's alpaca cloud. There was 2 lace weight and 1 fingering weight. So one of the lace weights I have put on my D-stash. It's an orangey colour, which doesn't really do it for me. So if you do like alpaca cloud and you'd like some lace weight, head over to the D-stash page. But as I also got in there, I got some Felici, just 1 ball of Felici. I think it was called the soft serve colourway. I got a ball of regular chroma in Ferris wheel, I think it was, and I got 2 skeins, 1 of Chroma Twist fingering and 1 of Chroma Twist bulky, both in the groovy colourways. So I don't really use bulky yarns very often, so I wasn't sure what I could make out of 127 yards of bulky yarn, and turns out I can make some socks. So yeah, I just popped onto the advanced search that that they have on Ravelry there, where you can pick your yarn weight and your yardage and everything like that, and I found these socks, and these are slipper socks, and it is a pattern by Veronica Van, and I believe the pattern was created for Dream in Colour for their bulky weight yarn. So this is Knitpicks Chroma Twist in their bulky base. I'll get my words out. So yeah, this was the groovy colourway, and I really like it. It's it's almost like knitting with hand spun, really. I believe that there's 3 plies in this yarn, and they just sort of gradate between the different colours. And the cool thing is that I believe this is the case for all of the chroma yarns now. They are actually like a mirrored ball, so the colour sort of goes one way and then it goes the opposite way to the end of the ball. So I wound my ball and I knit 1 sock from the centre and 1 sock from the outer sort of part of the ball. What do you call it? So yeah, and they ended up being virtually identical, which was really quite fun. So hopefully you can see both of them in there. Pull back a little bit maybe. So yeah, I was pretty pleased with that because I did accept the fact that they might have been fraternal twins, and I tend to match my socks, especially when it's sort of a striping yarn. So yeah, and I didn't need to worry about it because of the mirrored effect in the Chroma Twist skeins. they're virtually identical. So yeah, I was pretty pleased with those, and I used the whole skein. So I thought I was going to run out, but I think I only had a couple of yards left at the end, so I just made it. And they're probably not quite as long as what I would normally use for my regular wearing everyday socks. But as these are probably just going to be worn around the house, sitting on the couch just to keep my feet warm, it's probably not a big deal. So it's not like they have to fit 100% perfectly. So yeah, that's my Chroma Twist socks. And next up, I have a crochet item that I have finished. If you remember a few weeks ago, I mentioned that I went to Spotlight and bought a bunch of Karen cakes because I had them, I think I usually sell them at about $15 a ball or a cake. And they were selling them at $10 as a promotional price. So I went and got, I think, 6 of them. So I dug one out last week, and I just crocheted up sort of like I guess a baby diagonal crochet blanket. So this is what I'm doing with my sock yarn scraps, is this sort of diagonal blanket, which creates like a basket weave pattern. It's just double crochets. There's no pattern. I'm not using a pattern for this. It's just a technique, I guess. So yeah, I started at a corner and went through, and yeah, so I've used the whole ball in this. I haven't actually measured how big this is. It's probably maybe 50 to 60 centimetres across the top. Or, you know, it's a square, so all the way around. So yeah, that was 383 yards in a Karen cake. So yes, I used all of that, and that's a worsted weight, and I used a 5mm hook. So I thought I could probably just list this on my shop as a baby blanket. The stripes didn't quite work how I was expecting them to, because they are very uneven. I'm not quite sure, because it's not consistent across them either. It's just some of them are bigger and some of them are smaller. So I can't say that's my favourite thing. I mean, obviously, as this section here is going to be bigger than, you know, as it goes through, because you're working in a smaller and then it gets bigger. So that makes sense to me. But even through the middle here, where, you know, like it's 1 row or 2 rows and then 2 rows and then we've got 4 rows, like it just doesn't make sense to me. So, but yes, the colours are quite pleasant. This was the Cake Pop colourway, and yeah, I quite like the colours. I think perhaps that the bluey green is a little bit out of place with the creams and the browns, but yeah, I think it's alright. So it makes a pretty good baby blanket size. So yeah, I thought I'd just photograph that and pop that in the shop and see how it goes. I've been wondering though whether I want to add like a fabric border around it. I don't know if I have any fabric that is really going to work with these colours, especially because I tend to gravitate towards prints and busy things. I don't know if I'll have any that really matches, because I don't even have any yarn that I could do an edging on it with, say I crocheted an edging, unless I go and buy another ball of Cake Pop. But yeah, I'm thinking about perhaps doing something on the edges. I haven't quite decided yet. But yeah, so that one was done too. And my final FO is my Bay Winter Cowl, which is a forthcoming pattern by Erin Currup. And here it is. It blocked out quite long. Funnily enough, looking at the screen, it looks like the my skein of yarn. It's all one skein of yarn, but it looks like it's almost 2 different dye lots. But that's okay. You can't really tell when you're looking at it in real life. So that side looks a little bit more consistent. So yes, this was the test knit that I did for Erin. And this is knit from my own yarn. This is my Swindern sock base in the Acorns colourway. And yeah, I'm really happy with it. And the test knit, I think, finishes on the 7th of May. So today is the 4th of May. Happy Star Wars Day. And yeah, so I just have to do some modelled photographs of this, and my test knit will be complete once I do the questionnaire for Erin. So yeah, I believe she has said that this pattern will be released next week. So that's pretty exciting. It's her first pattern. And I'm pretty sure she's offering a little bit of a special deal or something. I'm not quite sure what it is. It's a secret. But if you go to remadebyhand.com, she does have a newsletter sign up. So if you sign up, she will be sending through some offers. So if you are interested in this pattern, definitely go over and join up with Erin's mailing list. So it's pretty straightforward. I did run out of yarn. I had a bit of a yarn chicken moment. I think I mentioned before that the body section, so it's 3 sections essentially. So you cast on ribbing section, then your body section, then another section for your cast off rib. And the body section is supposed to be repeated 22 times. I did it 22 times and then started, because I believe it's 22 times, then you have to do a couple more rows. And I did that, and I'm looking at it, the amount of yarn that I had left, and I'm like, I'm not going to be able to make the ribbing out of this. So I pulled back the 20-second repeat and turned that into the end ribbing, and that worked. So I think I had 3 grams of my yarn left, because the balls of yarn that I'm using, the Swindern, because it comes on a cone, I make them slightly bigger balls. So they're about 104 grams, I believe. So I had 3 grams left out of that 104-ish kind of grams of a skein. So I possibly... No, I don't think I could have got that full 4-row repeat in with what I had left. But yeah, so I don't know whether perhaps my yarn overs are bigger than they should have been, or my gauge maybe is bigger than it should have been. But I did, I think I showed in the podcast the swatches that I did for my, what are they called, mini skeins. And I used the same size needle for that and got the gauge that the pattern said on those swatches that I used for this cowl. So technically I should have been on gauge, but who knows, as I've worked through it, because there is a lot of yarn overs and pearls and things like that, and pearls do chew up a little bit more yarn than knits do, so it could be down to that, I don't know. So yeah, it's pretty fun, pretty intuitive. Not hard. It's enough to keep you interested and keep you entertained rather than just being mindless stockinette. So yes, that's my Bay Winter cowl, and I used 415 yards in this one, and I just knit that on a 3.75 millimeter needle. 3.75 meter needle. And that is a US 5. So that is my Bay Winter cowl, and that's all my works in progress. No, sorry, my finished objects. My works in progress is next. I did finish the knitting of my Alfalfa baby hat that I showed you a couple of weeks ago. I finished the knitting and then I marked it as finished on my projects. And then I realised that it actually needs I-cord ties. So this morning I've crossed it back out to being in progress. So that's the Alfalfa baby hat. It's super, super cute. I'm thinking I might actually give it to my little niece, Piper. So yeah, I just need to finish off by putting the I-cords on. And this is a pattern, it's a free pattern, and it's by Kate Gagnon Osborne. And it's super, super cute. I love this hat so much. But what would I want to say? Be aware though that the pattern, I think they were trying to fit it all on one page. And that's why the formatting of the pattern is the way it is. But I really have to say it's not easy to follow, because instead of having line by line and you know which line you're on, you can clearly see what's involved in that line. Basically the whole pattern is in a column, and it just cycles round. Like, it's just, once it finishes the instructions for one row, it just starts the next row, and it's very jumbled and very hard to read. If I was to knit this again, I think I would retype the whole pattern with a line per each row or round, because it was just frustrating as anything trying to read the pattern for this hat. I think that's why it took me so long to knit this tiny thing, because the formatting of the pattern really wasn't good. So yes, that's probably something they should perhaps look at. But it is a free pattern, so you know you can't complain too much. So yes, I really love this, and yeah, I just need to do my I-cord on it and it will be complete, and then I can hand it over to Piper. We'll give it a wash first, and then hand it over to Piper. So that's super cute. The next thing I've been working on, I haven't done a ton on it, is my Lady Sunnyside. I have been working on it, but it's getting really heavy. It is really getting heavy, and my wrists have been not very happy with me with all my self-striping warping that I have been doing. So yeah, this is kind of not getting as much love. Let me find. I'm trying to find where my yarn is attached so I can get rid of the yarn and hold up the cardigan. So yeah, this hasn't been getting as much love as I would like to be giving it, so I don't know that there's a ton been done since the last podcast. I am working away on it. I guess the progress, I can't remember, I think I was sort of here somewhere, so I've done maybe an inch, I think, in the last week since I showed it to you. Like I said, it's now just a point of just backwards and forwards and adding my buttonholes in. I haven't still haven't finished the same ball that I was mentioning last week to figure out when I want to start my ribbing, so I don't even know when I want to start that yet. But I do know it's going to be a big swath of ribbing on the bottom. So yeah, not really a lot to say, just going on and on and on with this incredibly heavy sweater. So yeah, that's my Lady Sunnyside. Not really anything to tell you. And since I finished my Bay Winter Cowl, I have dug out my vanilla socks again. You have seen these before, and this is knit from my Unwind Yarn Company sock blank that I've got. And this is her stained glass speckled sock blank. I'll pull it out, show you a little bit of it there. So this is her, I think she calls them the jaunt sock blanks, and it's fingering weight yarn. So this is just my vanilla sock, 64 stitch, cuff down with a fish lips kiss heel. So yeah, I've just pulled these out again, since the Bay Winter Cowl does use a little bit of brain power I did memorize the pattern finally in the last few rounds. Does take a bit of brain power. I wanted to do something that was pretty mindless, so I've dug out these socks again. And due to some damage on our car, I now drive Simon to and from work, because he's not allowed to, they don't have a big car park there, so then he's not allowed to park in their car park, so he has to park on the street, and I've been noticing damage to our car, so I have been driving him to and from work. So this will be perfect to take if I'm a little bit early, that I can just knit my socks in the car. So I think I only have about another inch to go before I start the toe on this one. So this sock probably will be finished tonight even. And then I'll get on to the second one. So I think that's all I've been working on. Yes, that's all I've been working on. So I haven't done any spinning since last week, where I had all the spinning. This week I haven't been doing any spinning. I have been busy, I think. I've been very much into trying to get my self-striping stuff done. I am having no end of frustration with the warping board. I don't know what is going wrong. I honestly don't. On Saturday, Friday, I tried warping a skein. It was wrong. So Saturday I pulled it all off, and I'm doing what Laura of Jinx Yarns has suggested, where she says to put 2 skeins on at once, because then you have 2 sort of balls of self-striping that are from the same dye lot and should be fairly identical, just in case anybody wants to do like really tall socks or something like that. So I've been doing 2 skeins at once, so that's about 864 yards, I think, in my sock base for 2 skeins, and so it takes about an hour to warp it. If it's wrong, it takes probably 2 hours to pull it off. And then, so Saturday I pulled it off, I warped it again, still wrong. So I had to pull it off again, and then I warped it again, and as I was warping it, I made sure to run my finger through just to make sure that I still had a big loop, and I did the whole way through. I had no problems. I started tying it. I got to the very second last row of ties, and there's one strand of yarn that is in the wrong spot. So as you can imagine, I probably teared my hair out, and because the warping of the yarn, I was saying before that my wrists really hurt from the warping, and it's not so much that the actual, like, because I use both hands to sort of twist the yarn across the warping board, it's more trying to fit your hand in to see that you have a loop, because around the pegs it can get quite tight, and because you're going down and up again, it sort of interlaces the yarn, and then you've got to trying to separate those interlaces. So yeah, my hands get really sore trying to push through and test for that loop. So yeah, I don't know what I'm doing wrong, because I know you have to travel in the same, like around the pegs the same way. If you are interested in self-strapping, definitely check out episode 7 of the Dyer's Notebook podcast, which is Laura from Jinx Yarns podcast, where she tells you how to warp a board. So yeah, I followed that. I do what she says. So, you know, going up, you want to wind all your pegs the same way. So I go from under to over, and then the first and the last peg, and I'm doing 20-yard skeins, so they're both on the same side, have to be wound the same way. And I've been going, you know, under then over for the top and the bottom, the final 2 pegs. And I don't know why, because I've even put sticky tape on it now with arrows so that I know which way I want to wind those 2 pegs. And my other pegs are super easy. If I'm going up, I know that I've got to go up and over, and I know if I'm coming down, I've got to go down around. So I don't know why I'm having so much problem with it, and it's just driving me nuts. So I guess I'm sort of Laura's prophecy is being fulfilled with me. So yes, my memory card got really full, so I've had to go and get rid of that. Let me take those back off again. So yeah, I can't actually remember exactly what I was talking about, but I know I was talking about the self-striping, so hopefully I don't repeat myself too much. But sort of long story short, I think I explained most of the issues. I can't figure out why I'm having problems with the warping, because I consciously feel like I'm doing the right thing. Perhaps somewhere along the line I'm doing the wrong thing and I've not really clocked it. I've not realised that I've been doing it. But yeah, it's pretty frustrating. And I tried dyeing some yesterday, and my first attempt didn't turn out anything like I was hoping. So I'm going to rename it something else, because I have an idea in my head with a really cute name that I want to make a self-striping of, and this didn't turn out like it at all. So I think I'm going to be calling it something else. So I've got one successfully dyed skein of self-striping. I tried dyeing a second one, but it got so tangled, and I don't know how and I don't know why, but it got tangled. So I'm going to have to, I've let it dry. I've dyed one section of it. I'm going to have to let it dry, and well, it is probably dry now, but I'm going to have to sit and detangle it and get it back into a loop without little bird nests along the way, and try and finish dyeing that off. I don't think I'll be doing that today. I might do a bit more dyeing tomorrow, but yesterday I did some other dyeing. I have a bunch of heavier weight yarns, a couple of 4 DKs and 2 Arons. These are all new colourways. I haven't named one of them, but these will be up in the shop tomorrow night, Friday the 5th of May at 7 p.m. Australian Central Standard Time. And this one I haven't named yet. I'm not quite sure what I want to call it, but yeah, this name is TBA. And again, I've been having problems this week with, one of them was okay, but 2 other dye lots ended up, even though these were dyed exactly the same way, in exactly the same pot, they've come out different. So this one's got more speckles and it's a little bit darker. This one's got slightly more subtle speckles and it's a little bit lighter. So when I list these, I will list them as individual skeins. So I'll say the darker one and the lighter one, and then you can pick from the photos. So yeah, this is a really nice sort of soft sort of aqua-y green, I guess you could say. It's not aqua as such, but it's sort of a soft sagey kind of aqua-y green with coloured speckles, and I accidentally put brown in instead of pink on the second go round with the speckles, so that's great. It was supposed to be pink speckles, but it got brown. That's okay. So that's the first one I've got, and I don't know what I'm going to call that yet, and this is on my Nyasa Aran base, so that's Aran weight. And now this one, I can't believe that these were dyed in the same pot. I know, right? These could almost be used as 2 separate colours in a striped project, honestly. As even as I try to be, I don't know why they come out like this. So this one I'm going to call Mermaid, I think. And I will continue to work on the colour, and I'm hoping to get a good blending of the 2. So something in between the 2 of these will be what the final colourway is when I finally figure it out. But I've got these 2 for now, and obviously I will list them as the green skein and the purple skein. But yes, I'm going to call this one Mermaid for obvious reasons. And the last 2 skeins that I have was a green that I worked on. So it came out brighter than I was expecting. I was looking for more of a deeper, darker, sort of almost olivey green, but it came out quite bright. And I think I'm going to call this one Emerald Isle, because it just reminds me of sort of the green of Ireland. So yes, so it's my Ireland colourway, the Emerald Isle. So I have 2 skeins of that on DK as well. So these will all be going in the shop tomorrow night. I hope you can join me. So yes, I think that's pretty much all I have to talk about. Love it or leave it this week. Love it was spending Tuesday with my parents and my sister and my nieces. That was a lot of fun. My eldest niece, Amelia, she is turning into a real nut. She's a lot of fun to hang around, and Piper's getting bigger every day. She's the Chubba Bubba, as they always call her. It's her nickname. So yes, that was a lot of fun. And I think I mentioned Piper's well off her oxygen now. She doesn't need that anymore, thankfully. So she's freewheeling without a tank. So yeah, that was pretty fun. And leave it, probably stuffing up myself striping warping. I could really do without that. But yes, that's my love it and leave it for this week. There's not a lot of blather really to talk about, I don't think. Simon and I are getting haircuts tonight, so which is pretty good, because I've been struggling to get Simon to get his hair cut for quite a while. He's been growing it and growing it and growing it and growing it, and I don't mind it being long, or a bit longish, but it's looking very ratty. So I'm so glad to be able to be getting him to the hairdresser tonight. I think my hairdresser's probably going to fall over when she notices that he's coming. So yeah, that's probably all I've really got for blather. So yeah, I think I'll leave it there. I think it's going to be a fairly long one anyway. So I hope you guys are all having a fantastic week. I hope you're getting a lot of crafting done, and I'd like to thank you so much for spending some time with me today. I hope you enjoyed, and if you did, remember to give us that like button, click that like button, and yeah, so have a great week guys, and I will see you next week. Thanks, bye!